Because of Winn-Dixie, the genre for this story is realistic fiction. The text has a main character who overcomes a challenge. The text details and the characters' real-life problems help the reader picture the setting. So just remember, this is realistic fiction. On page 548, who are the main characters? Opal, her dog Winn-Dixie, and Miss Franny Block. On that same page, where does this story take place? It takes place in a library in Naomi, Florida. So how might this story be different if the setting were the town where Opal grew up? Well, she probably would have friends, and she and the librarian might already know each other. Okay, let's go ahead and turn to page 557. On page 557, why is Opal happy at the end of the story? If you said she made her first friend in Florida, you are correct. Now her and Miss Franny become friends. I hope you enjoyed this story. Reading lesson 21. Our focus skill is character setting and plot. Remember, characters are the people or animals in a story. The setting is when and where a story takes place. The plot is a series of events in a story, and each plot event has an influence on the events that follow it. The setting can also affect the plot of events. After you read Because of Winn-Dixie, work on practice book page 122. So in this section, you'll see that I already filled in the characters. That's Opal, Winn-Dixie, and Miss Franny Block. And the setting, the story takes place in the library. For section 2, you need to look at pages 548 and 553. And the plot of events here, well, first Opal leaves Winn-Dixie outside the library. He manages to stand up on his hind legs, and then he looks into the window to see her. Miss Franny thinks Winn-Dixie is a bear. She hides behind her desk. So for section 3, you need to read pages 554 and 557. So I'm going to ask you to write 2 things, but I wrote 1 for you. So in section 3, Miss Franny tells Opal the story of a real bear that came to the library when Miss Franny was a little girl. So now I want you to add 1 more thing that happens in that story. This is practice book page 123, character setting and plot. You are supposed to read the story, then complete the graphic organizer. So let's go ahead and read it together. Pete Leong and his family had just moved to Chicago. Pete still missed his friends back in Dallas. One day, Pete and his brother Matt were playing catch in the park. Matt threw the ball too high and it went sailing over Pete's head. Pete ran after it, but before he could grab the ball, it was snatched up by a huge black dog. Oh no, Pete thought. Now what am I going to do? Just then the dog's owner came up. He was about Pete's age. Sorry, Elsie likes to play catch, he said, pulling the ball out of his dog's mouth. Thanks, said Pete, taking the ball. She's better at catching than I am. Do you two want to play with us? That's how Pete made his first new friend in Chicago. So as you can see, I already filled in the characters, Pete, Pete's brother, Elsie, and Elsie's owner. We don't know his name, so we're just going to write Elsie's owner. And the setting is a park in Chicago. So now I listed some events here. Pete and his brother play catch. Pete misses the ball and a dog snatches it up. The dog's owner talks to Pete. Pete invites the dog's owner to play catch. Pete makes his first new friend in Chicago. So if you already started that one and it's not exactly like mine, that's okay. So these could be possible responses, but try to make sure that it follows the story.